This is Roblox's hardest jump. Or at least, it was. Sora no Shinku is a jump created by Fur in 2022. It's infamous for being the pinnacle of Roblox jumps. Ever since it was first verified almost 2 years ago by popular hobbyist Boomsasak, it has stood unchallenged as the hardest jump ever beaten. The jump's origins stem from popular Roblox hobby Shinku no Naraku, in which the hardest jump is very recognizable. This led to Sora no Shinku being created. It's simply the hardest jump of Shinku no Naraku, just buffed by a lot. To this day, only 3 hobbyists have successfully conquered Sora no Shinku, those being Boomsasak, Loaf, and LMAO Boy Bruh. Until 2024, the jump was considered as the hardest ever beaten, and people thought that it would stay like that for a while, until June 9th of 2024, when 2 jumps, both harder than Sora no Shinku, were beaten within an hour of each other. This is how Roblox's hardest jump was beaten twice in 1 hour. Before we start the video, I'd really appreciate if you could subscribe to the channel. Only a small percentage of the people who watch my videos are actually subscribed. I'm so close to 4,000 subscribers, so if you could hit that red button and help me reach this goal, it would mean a lot to me. Anyway, let's get back into the video. When Sora no Shinku was first beaten in 2022, the jump ranked in at a difficulty of 8.75. Just to quickly explain how these difficulties work, difficulty for jumps ranges from 0.0, which is completely unfailable, up to 11.0 plus, which is impossible for humans. They include pixel perfect movements and are only possible with task abuse. Every jump above 9.0 is supposedly humanly impossible. That just explains how difficult Sora no Shinku is, being extremely close to the human limit. If you're interested in stuff like this, you can join the Top Jumps Discord server, linked in the description. The first jump in question is the ultimate destination. Created by Abyssal Chaos in November of 2022, the jump consists of 8 minutes of difficult lodge gameplay, which is a technique pretty popular in the Top Jumps community. The lodge is performed by getting your character stuck between 2 bricks, and because of how Roblox's mechanics work, if you position yourself correctly, your character can slowly start moving thanks to the walls. So with that out of the way, now let's get into the explanation of the jump. The first part of the jump is a truss bounce, to get it into a lodge mid-air. By simply jumping off the truss, you wouldn't be able to get into the lodge, so a precise truss bounce is completed at the very start. Then, the player needs to quickly turn their camera to catch themselves mid-air in the first lodge, and then move forward in it. Next, the player needs to drop down into a lodge that consists of 1 stud wide bricks, and then move upwards in it. All the things we've just covered are presumably the easiest part of the jump, only requiring good camera control and a technique called up-lodging, basically lodging upwards. After a 20-second long up-lodge, the player needs to traverse 4 small lodges. You'll be seeing a lot of those in this jump. This part takes a lot of practice and at least a couple hours played to start getting past this section quite consistently. After up-lodging in the last small lodge and precisely moving forward, you will encounter a large drop into a cylinder lodge. This is the hardest part of the jump. It requires a perfect turn and a lot of RNG to not fall. This is the first major choke point of the jump, and you will fail this a lot, at least if you manage to get this far. If you manage to get to the cylinder lodge, you will need to perform a 3-minute long up-lodge until you touch the roof of the jump. Then, you drop into the last lodge before the end. This drop is another huge choke point, being extremely RNG and even moving a tiny bit can make you fail. Here, you need to up-lodge for another 3 minutes, and finally, precisely drop into a 1 stud wide space. And you have officially beaten a jump over 8.8 difficulty. And the second jump is called Doom of Glorious Supernaturalism. Created by XDIAM and Murdoch in May of 2024, the jump is fairly new and is a buffed version of an already difficult top 10 jump created in 2022, called Wrath of the Shingle. The jump doesn't include lodges, meaning that it isn't as long as the ultimate destination, but the pure difficulty of doing everything perfectly to land it is unfathomable. You start the jump on a simple platform, and an absolute behemoth of a wraparound stands beside you. A wraparound is a jump which involves the player jumping around the wall to land on a platform on the other side. But this jump is no simple wraparound. It has a wedge placed at the side of it, which makes it so you can't just stick to the wall, because this will make you hit the wedge and fall off. If you somehow manage to get the perfect height and jump off the brick at the perfect time, then you need to squeeze your character in a 1.2 stud gap and quickly turn your camera so you get pushed out on the finishing platform. The side of a Roblox character is exactly 1 stud wide, meaning that when entering the gap, you need to be angled at almost exactly 90 degrees. And if you manage to do this, you have officially conquered Doom of Glorious Supernaturalism. On June 9th, 2024, two hobbyists launched up their computers and started grinding the two jumps respectively. Dylan, focusing on the ultimate destination, and Times, focusing on Doom of Glorious Supernaturalism. But first, it's important to teach you about these hobbyists. Dylan started becoming a big name in the community after beating the last jump of an hobby called Interstellar, which ranked in at a 8.3 difficulty in September of 2023. He would keep playing and keep beating jumps in the 8 difficulty range quite consistently. He then went on to beat a jump called 9 Studs of Hell, which would garner him over 15,000 views on this completion. And only 3 days later, he would do this. This is a jump called Somber. When Dylan beat it, it ranked in as the second hardest jump ever beaten, just behind Sora no Shinku. With Dylan still staying consistent up to this day, he was definitely someone that could be the person to beat the next top 1 jump. And Times was also very known in the community. He started hobbying over 3 years ago, but he wasn't really doing jumps, mostly focusing on full hobbies like tiered hobbies and JTO. In November of 2022, he posted a video of completing the last jump of the infamous Roblox hobby, Misplaced in Time. Completing this jump made Times quite interested in the community. He later proceeded to verify many difficult jumps, most notably at the time, a jump called Sandstorm, which was his first verification on the list. At one point, Times was definitely one of the best top jumpers. In around March of 2024, verifying a top 3 jump called Holy Pretzel, a jump where people could do up to 16 hours of attempt and still not be able to beat it. Similarly to Dylan, Times was also a possible candidate for the next top 1 jump. At this exact time, on June 9th, 2024, Dylan had just started his 5th Ultimate Destination attempt livestream. After 16 hours of grinding the jump already past him, this might just be the stream to finally beat it. He sets the goal for the stream as Cylinder Lodge, which, as I already mentioned, is the hardest section of the jump, but not really close to the end. For this stream, Dylan didn't have expectations to beat it. He was just trying to get more consistent with it. But no one would have guessed that this would happen only 2 hours later. had done it. After 18 hours of grinding, Dylan had beaten the ultimate destination. This was the first 8.8 completion ever performed, ranking in at an 8.82 difficulty, edging closer and closer to the limit of Roblox jumps. After verifying the jump, Dylan ended the stream, and history had been made. While people were still celebrating the completion, this happened. Only a mere 20 minutes later, Times posted a screenshot in the Top Jumps Discord server of him on the finish platform in Doom of Glorious Supernaturalism, adding on to this screenshot, stating in the Discord server, quote unquote, "I did that in 10 minutes. The community was both surprised and confused. 2 jumps, dethroning a jump that stood for over 2 years, beaten within 20 minutes of each other." After asking Times about the jump, he said that this is the luckiest he had ever been on a completion. Both Dylan and Times are absolute legends for managing to dethrone Sora no Shinku. You should definitely subscribe to their YouTube channels linked in the description of this video, and join the Top Jumps Discord server as well, cause you never know, you might just witness something crazy like this in the future as well. And you, watching this video, might just be the next person to verify the next top 1 jump. Huge thanks to Dylan, Times, Loaf, and the rest of the Top Jumps community for helping with this video. Anyway, thanks for watching and see you in the next video.